I'm 28 years old, and recently I left my job in real estate to start my own business. It's always been a dream of mine to create something from the ground up, and I felt like now was the right time to go for it. A few months ago, I made the leap and decided to put all my energy into this venture. I had saved enough money and was determined to make it work. About 6 months ago, I approached my parents to see if they would invest in my new business. My dad has a lot of experience running the family car dealership with my uncle, and my mom manages the accounting. I thought their expertise would be invaluable. However, I made the mistake of discussing this at a family dinner where my younger brother was also present. He's 25 and has been working in sales for a couple of years, always showing a lot of ambition. A couple of weeks later, my brother announced that he, too, wanted to start his own business and was looking for our parents to invest in him. At first, I thought he was joking, but he was serious and had even quit his job, saying he was inspired by me. I tried not to let it get to me, thinking it wouldn't affect my plans, but I was wrong. At another family dinner a few weeks after his announcement, my parents told me they could only invest in one of us. They decided to support my brother, who amusingly wanted to go into the real estate business. Just like me, he had no prior interest or knowledge in the field, which made their decision even more confusing and hurtful. My parents said they believed he had more business acumen, suggesting I could join him in his venture, though it wouldn't be an equal partnership. This felt like a slap in the face, especially since I've been in the real estate industry and know what I'm doing. Feeling hurt and betrayed, I ended up having a big argument with my brother. I accused him of copying my ideas and brought up past incidents where he tried to compete with me. He fired back, saying it wasn't his fault our parents preferred him, claiming he was just better. It was a petty and immature exchange, and my parents tried to calm things down by insisting they loved us both equally. They said they just thought my brother had more potential in business. After that day, I decided to cut off contact with my family. It was too painful to be treated like I was lesser than my brother. It's been 6 months since then, and I haven't spoken to them. My parents tried reaching out a few times, but when I didn't respond, they eventually stopped after a few weeks. I haven't attended any family events recently and kept to myself during the holidays to avoid awkward encounters. It's just easier that way. I've cut off all contact with them, and honestly, I prefer it that way. However, about 2 weeks ago, something shocking happened. My longtime girlfriend and I planned a weekend getaway where I intended to propose to her. A few hours after we arrived, she went to take a shower. I realized I had left my phone at home, so I decided to use hers to charge mine. When I picked up her phone, I saw she had several texts from my dad, which was odd because I've been out of touch with my family. Even though we have a strict no-snooping rule, I broke it this once, and I'm glad I did. I guessed her password, which I got on the second try, and found out they had been talking for months. She had been sending him pictures of my business plans, investor lists, locations I wanted to set up, and other confidential business documents. I was shocked that she had access to these documents since I work from home and she lives with me, but it was heartbreaking to find out she was sharing them with my dad. I realized my dad would likely use this information to help my brother get ahead of me. I discovered she was being paid for her betrayal. My dad would send her money after each batch of information, and she would confirm the receipt. She wasn't just sharing business details. She was also telling him personal things, like who I was meeting with and what I said about them or my brother. She was a freelance writer, and I had been supporting her financially since she quit her stable job. Couldn't understand why she needed the money so badly that she'd sabotage our relationship. I never pressured her to contribute to expenses and had always supported her. Seeing those messages felt like something out of a bad movie. I was disturbed and decided to leave immediately. I grabbed my bags, which I hadn't unpacked, and drove away from the hotel. I didn't stop or check my phone until I was far away. After almost 2 hours, I stopped at a gas station because I felt nauseous and needed a soda. I finally checked my phone and saw multiple missed calls and texts from my girlfriend. She was panicking, asking where I was and if something was wrong, clearly unaware that I knew about her betrayal. I had no idea what to say to her, so I decided to take a break and think things through. The betrayal from my longtime girlfriend spying on me from my parents was overwhelming. I felt a mix of emotions: betrayal, hurt, anger, and sadness. But then I decided I wouldn't let them win. Instead of running away, I turned the car around and headed back to the hotel with a plan in mind. When I got back, she seemed genuinely happy to see me. It was hard to act normal, but I put on a front and told her that I had been gone because I was planning something special and needed time to gather my thoughts. I went down on one knee and proposed, saying that thinking about spending my life with her helped me realize I was doing the right thing. She was thrilled and accepted immediately. It was crazy to think she was still willing to marry me while betraying me behind my back. I told her I wanted to reconnect with my parents and share the good news, pretending to be over our feud. She seemed a bit surprised, but quickly supported the idea, encouraging me to make amends. I texted my parents right after we got engaged, while she called her family to share the news. The next day, my dad replied, happy that I was apologizing and wanting to reconnect. I immediately started planning an engagement party, telling my girlfriend I'd handle everything as a surprise for her. I enlisted a friend who's an event planner to help. The party was at my house, and I invited everyone we knew, including her family and friends. I managed to keep everything under wraps until the last moment. On the day of the party, with everyone present, I made a speech. I began by thanking my girlfriend and family for everything, then dropped the bombshell. I revealed that I knew about the secret betrayal that had been going on for months. I called my girlfriend a sellout and had harsh words for my parents, but I saved the sharpest insults for my brother, whom I saw as the instigator. I pointed out that even with access to my business ideas, he still needed me to succeed because even our parents didn't fully believe in him. The party took place a week after I discovered the betrayal, giving me enough time to set everything up. I even got screenshots of the text conversations between my girlfriend and my dad from her phone. Since I knew her password, it was easy to sneak into her phone while she was asleep and delete any proof of my actions. I had booklets made from the screenshots and handed them out to each guest after my speech, just to show everyone how deceitful and psychotic the people involved were. The guests were stunned, but my family and girlfriend were the most shocked. She left the room in tears and refused to come out until everyone was gone. After distributing the booklets, most guests left, but my family stayed and tried to argue with me. I wasn't having any of it and told them to leave or I'd call the cops, making the situation even uglier. They left, likely afraid of further embarrassment in front of relatives who'd heard everything. This would undoubtedly become the talk of the town in the coming days. I didn't hear from my parents after that, but I did have to talk to my girlfriend that night. She left after the party and moved back in with her parents. However, before she left, she confronted me, saying I was a horrible person for putting her through that. She explained that the only reason she had spied on me was to get money for her little sister's education since she was about to start med school. When I asked why she didn't just ask me for help, she said she was too proud. My dad had offered her money in exchange for information, and she didn't think it through. He had told her he wanted the information to help me with my business, but she didn't realize he might use it to help my brother instead, despite knowing about our issues. She admitted that what she did was wrong, but said my actions were even worse. She realized I had known about her betrayal since the day I proposed and accused me of deliberately humiliating her and my parents instead of breaking up with her immediately. It was clear we were done, but she mentioned that she was planning to stop spying on me after our engagement. That was the last conversation we had before she left. Since the engagement party, I haven't spoken to anyone and have just been going to work and coming home. I thought the party and humiliating them would make me feel better, but it didn't. I realized she was right that my actions were pretty psychotic, and I feel bad about it. So am I the jerk for throwing a party just to humiliate my girlfriend? Update. It's been 2 weeks since my ex and I broke up. She came back today to pick up some of her things, and we didn't speak at all. She pretended I wasn't there, which hurt, but I guess it's deserved. She did something incredibly hurtful and gave me trust issues, and I humiliated her in front of everyone she cared about. I suppose we're even now. It's still going to hurt for a while, but I don't think I owe her an apology. Thanks for the advice, everyone. I feel better about myself now. As for my parents, they still haven't reached out, and honestly, it's probably for the best. They already have all my business plans and ideas, which sucks, but there's not much I can do now that the damage is done. The best I can hope for is that my brother doesn't use any of it, though that seems unlikely. After I humiliated him at the party, I doubt he'll hold back. So things are looking bleak on the business front, but I hope to get through it somehow. Update 2. Hi everyone, it's been almost a month since my last update, and today I finally embarked on a new business journey. I know it takes time to set up a business, but I'm really excited to be working on something I enjoy. All the planning and hours I put in are finally paying off, and it's a great distraction from thinking about my ex. Even though she betrayed me, I still miss her and the good times we had. I'm in therapy now, trying to work through the trauma and process my feelings. It's tough, but having this new job to focus on makes me feel hopeful. No news about my brother or what he's up to, but if I manage to establish my business first, I'll have a head start, so fingers crossed. Update 3. I recently learned that my family is moving away because my brother is starting his business in another state. He doesn't want to be rivals anymore. He told me all about it in a long email and made sure to mention that he was sorry I wasn't mentally stable enough to handle my emotions like a normal adult. He accused me of wanting to be the center of attention without having any qualities to justify it, but wished me well and hoped I would stay away from him and our parents. It's been almost 3 months since the engagement party, and I'm finally starting to deal with and process everything better than I was back then. I also heard that my ex is going out on dates and getting back to her usual life. I guess everyone's moving on, and so am I. My business is doing all right, and with time,